Hi, my name is Brianna and welcome to my YouTube channel. What I'm going to be showing you today is how to make this really colorful, really creative rocket ship collage. And a collage is when we are gluing different things. It could be paper, it could be fabric, it could be just random materials together to make a piece of artwork. So keep watching and we will make a rocket ship collage together. So we have our background to start with. The very first thing I like to do is write my name on the front of my paper. Your art teacher might want you to write it somewhere else, but I'm going to take a white colored pencil and sign my artwork. As you can see here, my paper is tall like a tree instead of horizontal or flat like a hamburger, because we want to have plenty of room for our rocket ship. You should have some squares at your table or at your seat. What I'm going to start with today is I'm going to pick 2 squares for the body of my rocket ship. We'll be gluing these into the middle of our paper and connecting them together. And if you see what happens when you put them together, it makes a rectangle. That's right. I'm going to go ahead and glue these squares to my paper. I've got my lovely glue bottle here, my drippy glue, and I'm just going to put just a few dots. Does not have to be a lot. We are not squeezing the glue out all over our paper and getting runny glue everywhere. We just want a little bit, little tiny dots. Just a dot, not a lot. Okay, and I'm going to repeat that with my second square. Just a dot, not a lot. And fit those together. For the next part, we are going to add our top to our rocket ship, our rocket blaster, and the wings. And what shape do you think we can use to make those? If you said triangle, you are on a roll today. We have some squares here, so what can we do to make them into triangles? Instead of just cutting into my paper like this to cut a triangle, I'm going to show you a trick. And this trick is I'm going to take this square and turn it into a diamond or a rhombus. And I'm going to cut from this corner to this corner, straight up. So watch closely. And when I take these 2 apart, look what I have, 2 perfect triangles. And I am going to glue those to the top and bottom of my rocket ship in a second. But I need 2 more triangles for the wings. If it's really hard for you to cut straight up and down like this, what you can do is actually draw a little line to help you, like so, from one tippy corner to the other tippy corner. And then I'm going to really carefully cut. And now I have my 4 triangles that I'm going to need. Okay. When gluing your triangle, I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3 little drops of glue. 1 for each corner. And put that on the top of my rocket ship. I'm going to repeat that for the rocket blaster. 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm not going to stick this like this. That looks a little strange to me. We're actually going to overlap it. So I'm going to tuck the top of the triangle underneath my rocket ship's body. Okay. There's different ways you can glue your triangles for the wings. You can maybe glue them like this. I like to glue mine this way. So before you glue, just kind of decide how you want it to look. And I want mine to look like that. And I'm really carefully going to flip my triangle over. Just a dot, not a lot. And really carefully glue that down to my rocket ship. Just a dot, not a lot. And ta-da! The reason why we use just a dot is so the glue isn't expanding and squishing out from under our paper and making a big mess. We want our artwork to look neat and look like we took our time. Okay, now the fun part is we are going to make some flames coming out of our rocket ship. And I have my orange triangle, or orange square here, excuse me. And I'm going to cut some skinny rectangles. So I'm just going to cut, cut, and cut. Okay, now the awesome part about this is we're just going to put a little dab of glue. And we are going to pretend like we are dipping our French fries into some ketchup. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue on the end of my French fry or a rectangle. And I'm going to really carefully overlap and put it under my rocket blaster. A little bit of glue. And kind of tuck it under your rocket blaster. And maybe one more. And tuck. Okay, now for the really fun part is you are going to try to cut out a circle for a window. So you could take a square or whatever scrap paper you might have, and we're just going to really carefully cut out a circle. And you know what? If you mess up, that's okay, because you should have some more scrap paper, and you could try again. Just a dot, just a dot, just a dot. Ta-da! After we've put our rocket ship together and glued it, now we're going to get creative with all kinds of different materials that you might have. You might have some different things than what I have in my video, but that's okay because you can use pretty much anything. Up here I have some fabric scraps, and I have some sticky paper. I have some buttons and rhinestones and sequins, and I even have some scrap paper in case I want to cut and glue some of that. So we're going to add details to your rocket ship, and you could make it colorful, you can make it kind of crazy. This is up to you, but what we want to remember is when we're gluing things onto our rocket ship, use just a dot. Just a dot of glue. We don't want glue squishing out everywhere. Now I have this sticky paper here. If you don't have this, this is okay. That's okay. Maybe you've got some scrap paper. This actually has a sticker on the back of it, so I'm really carefully going to, hopefully, really carefully going to peel that sticker off and stick it to my rocket ship. And I'm just going to repeat that. You might have a couple things come up off your paper as you're working, so you might just kind of pat them down a little bit more. Awesome. Now my rocket ship looks nice and sparkly. Okay, and I might want to add, I've got some really fun sparkles here, some rhinestones that I'm going to add, and I'm just going to put just a dot of glue. You can even put just a little dot on your paper if that helps you a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to hold something and put glue on it. I've got some of this fun scrap fabric. And even if you don't have all these little knickknacks, that's okay, because you can decorate your rocket ship with just colored pencils. A white colored pencil works perfect. We're going to add some stars to our background. Maybe even some swirls, because it isn't in outer space after all. could even use colored pencil to add a few little details to your rocket ship, or maybe even a few more details to the background to give it a little bit of color. And if you have it on hand, you could even use a little bit of paint. I'm going to take a little bit of white paint in my brush and just put some dots for the stars. One of my favorite things to do to my artwork is use a little bit of gold paint. So if you have that, you can even use a little bit of that to add a little bit more sparkle to your rocket ship. Okay, I think I'm happy with how my rocket ship came out. So thank you for joining me for this lesson, and I hope you have lots of fun coming up with your own rocket ship.